The air smelled like cut grass and cheap betrayal. I stepped out of the cab, hospital bag in hand, a thin gauze pad still pressed beneath my blouse, hugging the wound I hadn't finished healing from. Charleston's early spring was supposed to be comforting. Instead, it clawed at me with humidity and suspicion. My eyes went straight to the driveway. Mara's silver Lexus was in my spot. Not the guest space, not the curb. My spot. I didn't pause. I just walked up the steps, boots soft on the wood, every motion precise. Familiar, or it should have been, but nothing felt familiar anymore. The key didn't turn. I tried again, and again. Then I twisted the knob. Unlocked. Inside, laughter floated through the air like poison in perfume. And there she was, Mara, sitting in Callum's robe, legs crossed, belly full. The house was still. No one ran to hug me, not even Callum. Had they forgotten I was coming home? Or worse, had they hoped I wouldn't? I didn't speak. I moved down the hallway, my hand grazing the wall. Touch was the only proof this place was once mine. The master bedroom door was ajar. I pushed it open. Gone. The bed, the dresser, the curtains I'd sewn last summer. Stripped. I walked in and caught the scent before I even saw it, vanilla rose. Not mine. Trash bags in the corner. Black. Wrinkled. Full. I knelt. Inside, my sweaters crumpled. One still stained with hospital antiseptic. Photo frames with shattered glass. My wedding ring box empty. A wedding photo lay face down. I picked it up. The crack ran across my smile. A pair of earrings, the diamond studs from our 5th anniversary, missing. My closet smelled like a stranger. They didn't just move her in, I thought. They moved me out. No warning. No explanation. Just erasure. Footsteps. I turned. Callum stood in the hallway, arms folded, calm like a doctor delivering bad news to someone else. You can use the guest room, he said, voice cool. I didn't respond. Mara needs the master, he added. It's better for the baby. Behind him, Celine, my mother-in-law. No hug. No hello. Just a nod. Agreement. Endorsement. From the living room, a clink of glass. Then Mara's voice. She's back already? I said nothing. I couldn't trust my own voice. Did they rehearse this? I wondered. Did they plan the lines? Rewrite the script while I was unconscious? No one offered to carry my bag. No one asked how I felt. I stood still. Only my hands moved, clenched, unclenched. I walked past them. The air outside was thick. The trash bins lined the curb like silent sentinels. One of them was open. On top, a sealed envelope. White. Clean. I pulled it out. Inside, a printed ultrasound scan dated 2 weeks prior. Next, a business card. Family attorney. Appointment circled. 3 days after my surgery. They didn't wait for me to get better. They waited for me to be too weak to fight. Behind me, laughter again. Mara's voice. She'll leave. She always does. I stared at the envelope. My grip tightened. Paper bent, but I didn't tear it. I walked back in. I didn't scream. Didn't cry. Didn't confront. I repacked the hospital bag. I added only what mattered. ID, cash, meds, silence. As I passed the living room, no one looked up. No one stopped me. Not one word. I opened the door, stepped into the air, closed it, and locked it behind me. A week passed. No one knocked on the door. No one asked where I went. But the phone wouldn't stop. It started with texts. Celine, you're embarrassing the family. Please be civil. Callum, let's not drag this. Mara's pregnant. Let's handle this like adults. No apologies. No concern. Just quiet demands wrapped in self-preservation. Then came the story spinning. Kira called. They're saying you ran out on them. That you're unstable. I laughed, dry and silent. Unstable. You should know. Celine's been contacting people. colleagues, clients. She's painting this as you going off the deep end. That night, I opened a document folder. Screenshots, call logs, voicemails, anything with a timestamp. Every whisper they tried to twist, I would anchor in proof. If they were rewriting the story, I would keep receipts. I wasn't the woman sobbing in a guest room anymore. I was the one listening from the shadows, pressing record. The next call wasn't from them. It was from a collections agency. Mrs. Wren, we're calling regarding your delinquent balance of $14,063, currently under legal review. I nearly dropped the phone. I never opened a loan, I said. Well, ma'am, we have your signature here. Filed 6 weeks ago. The PDF came 10 minutes later. My name, my address, my forged signature. I stared at the document. The signature wasn't even close. And that's when I called Leonore. She had once been my college roommate. Now, she was a licensed investigator. They're going for the full wipeout, she said. I nodded into the silence. They want me gone from the books. Not just the house. Isaac Marrow, Callum's longtime attorney, had already frozen our joint account. Filed under marital necessity, meaning, he argued, that Callum had rights to protect unborn life, which meant Mara, which meant the money I'd earned went to diapers for a child not mine. Leonore dug further. The deed on the house? Refiled. Refinanced. I wasn't listed anymore. You've been surgically erased, she said. Emotionally. Legally. And she was right. The next cut was deeper. Mara filed petition to be listed as Callum's legal spouse in the state benefits registry. The divorce wasn't even filed yet, but the system was easy to manipulate, especially with the right words. Urgent, medical, family crisis. An email leaked from Mara's account confirmed it. I saved him from a toxic woman. I deserve a future, not a lawsuit. Evander, Callum's cousin, forwarded it to me. Then, silence from him. Rumor said he'd stopped showing up to family dinners. Maybe even snakes don't like getting bit. Still, Mara threw a dinner. Celine attended. Callum carved roast chicken in front of the fireplace I once lit. And I watched it all. Through security cam footage Bryn slipped me on a flash drive. Footage dated 3 weeks before I came home. Callum and Mara. In my closet, pulling clothes, boxing shoes, throwing my letters in a trash bag. They didn't act like they were stealing. They acted like they were cleaning. Bryn's voice cracked when she said, I'm sorry. I didn't know where to send this earlier, but you deserve to see it. I thanked her, then deleted her number. I had no space for half-hearted alliances. 2 days later, I saw Callum. Outside Isaac's office. He leaned against his car like it was a throne. Didn't expect you to show up in person, he said. I adjusted my bag. Better than hiding behind someone else's robe. He smiled. You'll lose. You have no witnesses. My stare didn't break. You forgot who I was before I became your wife. He stepped closer. This won't end well for you. I tilted my head. Neither did our marriage. He laughed, but it was shallow. I always knew you weren't built for survival, he said. I stepped past him. Didn't stop. Didn't look back. Let the world think I was broken. Let them count me out. That's how people like me win. That night, Leonore sent a message. Encrypted. 1 line. You'll want to see this. 3 months. That's how long it took to rebuild something that resembled a life. It started in silence, the kind that didn't ask permission and didn't need to explain itself. Just paperwork, legal statements, depositions, and the quiet fury of someone who refused to vanish. Leonore arrived at my apartment with 2 boxes. It's all here, she said, laying out what she called a resurrection file. The paper trail was unmistakable. Fake signatures, banking activity while I was under anesthesia, emails between Isaac Marrow and Callum discussing rapid transitions. Ade Lisa, she said. This isn't just unethical. It's criminal. I didn't flinch. Then let's begin. We filed civil suits. Identity theft. Financial fraud. Emotional distress. It wasn't about vengeance. It was about correction. Isaac tried intimidation before the pre-trial meeting. Called me bitter. Told me this would destroy what was left of my dignity. I smiled back. You've mistaken quiet for weakness. Court was not explosive. It was clinical. Facts, dates, screenshots. My name used on refinancing forms while I was still in recovery. A judge raised an eyebrow when Leonor played a voicemail. Celine saying she won't fight. She never does. I didn't need to scream. I didn't even testify. I just watched them squirm in suits they thought would shield them. If you erase someone on paper, the judge said, you'd better hope they don't have a pen. By the time we walked out, Callum wasn't looking at me. Isaac was pale. Celine? She was nowhere. The next weekend, there was a wedding. Evander's daughter, Danielle. The invitation wasn't sent to me, of course not. But I went anyway, alone, in a silver dress that used to be too big for me. It fit perfectly now. When I walked in, the room changed shape. Callum and Mara were seated near the back, clearly not part of the wedding party. Mara had the baby in her arms. Callum was checking his watch. He looked up and saw me. So did everyone else. Conversations dropped. Forks froze mid-air. Whispers. That's her. I thought she moved. What did they do to her? Bryn, seated 2 rows ahead, answered in a voice that carried, they thought no one was watching. The pastor, giving his blessing, paused mid-sermon and said, let us remember, love does not replace. It redeems. Celine's smile tightened into a twitch. I didn't speak to anyone, didn't throw glares, didn't cry. Silence filled the air between us like static. Later that week, Leonor handed me a printout. Callum, jobless. His firm had quietly dissolved their contract once the civil suit surfaced. Celine and Evander? No longer church elders. Conflict of community trust, the notice read. Mara, relocated. New name. No social presence. Her LinkedIn now blank. Leonor found something else. Mara has done this before. 3 other names. 3 other towns. I blinked. She's not just a mistress. She's a system. I didn't post anything. Didn't call the press. Didn't blast it online. But the story leaked anyway. A small local paper picked it up. A feature on financial manipulation in marriage. They changed my name for privacy. But everyone knew. In the grocery store, at the bank, at the DMV, people nodded quietly. Some smiled. Others avoided eye contact, unsure where to place their guilt. It was enough. One morning, I walked into the courthouse with Leonor by my side. I wasn't there to fight anymore. I was there to choose. Name change, the clerk asked. Yes, I said. To Aude Elisa Wren. Wren, my grandmother's maiden name. The woman who taught me silence wasn't surrender. It was strategy. I signed the form. Flashbacks flickered through me like static. Callum's smirk. The empty bedroom. The guest towel on the floor. My hand trembled, but I didn't stop. One tear rolled down silent. Not from grief. From completion. Outside, Leonor asked if I wanted lunch. Not yet, I said, pulling a folder from my bag. Inside was one copy of everything. The trail, the evidence, the transcripts. I kept it not for revenge, but for memory. I slipped the folder back in place, zipped my bag, and whispered only to myself. Let them fear my silence.